Now, the hillbilly returned. And it's kind of a funny story because it was a few nights ago. I was just getting over the COVID, so I went to bed a little bit earlier than normal, like 8:30 or some junk. Anyway, I get a knock on the door. All the lights off in the house, porch lights off. I mean, I get a knock on the door, dog jumps up barking. I get up and go into the living room where I can see the back door, and I can see a flashlight shining into the kitchen, and I'm thinking, who in the hell is knocking on my door? Of course, it wasn't but 10:30, and most of the guys that I know, they know I stay up usually till about midnight, you know. But anyway, well, it was the hillbilly. You know, the same guy who, the Marlin Model 60, y'all saw me clean that up. If y'all watched that episode, if you haven't, you need to. Anyway, so he shows up, he's drunker than hell. I open the door, man, what's going on? Anyway, he had just bought this Heritage Rough Rider 22, and it also has a 22 Magnum cylinder. And he said, man, I just bought this gun, and it just goes click, 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 and don't go off. And so I said, well, come on in the gun room, let's take a look at it. So we went in there, and I'll show you what we got. You notice how, you see that right there? Now, and what it is, the hammer's riding on, you know, the sear, or possibly the bolt stop where the spur goes over where the hammer's at. Just too much tension. So we're gonna take this thing apart and see what we can do to get this thing shooting. Like I said, them old timers up there on the mountain, you know, they rely on this. Matter of fact, I'm surprised he even owns a brand new gun. This must have been his Christmas present or something. But anyway, they rely on these their guns to put food on the table. I know it's hard to believe that there's still people out there in these hills and stuff and different places in the United States that are still just like the old time ways, you know, but there are. So let's get to it. Now, one of the first things that I do whenever I'm taking apart a single action revolver, because typically the screws are in the back like this on the grip strap, is I like to take a little bit of tape, and just put it over there. That way I got less of a chance of boogering up the finish. Just pull these screws out. You have a couple on the bottom. We'll get those here in just a second. Now, a lot of folks don't know, but these Heritage Rough Riders, all these, you know, I personally think that they got the idea to start making these based on the little 22 Colt Peacemaker and new model Frontier that they come out with in the, I guess it was the 70s and 80s. That's what it looks like. The little spur, the ear on the cylinder bolt stop is just putting too much tension on the hammer spur. So we'll go ahead and pull that bolt stop out. Try to take a little tension off of it. Now those things are hardened, you know, they're spring steel, so I may have to nail it and bend it in a little bit, and then re-harden it. We'll see. Now I'm gonna test for hardness using a file. If the file skeeters across it, then it's been hardened. I mean, I don't know. It's not a very expensive gun, so we'll find out. No, it ain't hardened. So I should be able to squeeze it in a little bit and, you know, just get some of that tension off of it. Y'all can see that it's pretty wide. So, and it doesn't really need that much. It's just a little bit what it needs. And that's just slowing the hammer down from striking the firing, or the rim of the 22. And I just want to get wild with it. Just a little bit. Looks pretty good. All right, now one other thing we're gonna do is we are going to, now I've already ground on it some, but the bevel here that the bolt stop arm rides on when the hammer comes down, it was real steep bevel. I don't know if y'all can see, but you can see where I've grounded a little, what's the word I'm looking for here? You know, it was real steep, went up right here, and then it broke over, and I'm taking that bevel on further up to make it a smoother transition, but we're gonna take it a little bit more. Now I just use a stone on my Dremel that's tapered. Bevel that and bring it up so that the flat, it's not a big flat, it should be a small flat right here, right before it breaks over, and the arm is on the top side here. One other thing, and I assume that a lot of these Heritage, this is probably something that's not uncommon. One other thing that we're going to do is the ear on the hand. It came from the factory with just a sharp edge, and it should have a taper. Just like that. See if y'all can see that. But I just put a bevel right there, and that's what you're looking for. All right, one other issue that I want to point out that I noticed that is slowing the action down. You see the spring on the hand? It's sticking out way. It doesn't need that much tension at all. I mean, it's just got to keep the hand feeding out against the cylinder. So I'm gonna go ahead and straighten this up a little bit. I'm just gonna use some needle nose. See, that's more the way it should be. So I have a little more down here. Like I say, it just has to have it just has to have just a little bit to keep it out against the thing. So, all right, let's put the gun back together, test it out. Now you're gonna install your hand correctly. Let's see, just like that. You stick it in here just like this. Put the screw back in. You don't get crazy, you snug it good. Put the bolt stop back in there. Trigger. And I did go ahead and do a little bit of a stoning on his trigger while I had it apart, just to make it, I mean, like I said, it was apart, so that's the time to do it. Looking down. Put the gate spring back on, and about done. See how this thing does. Let's go test it out.